What separates good CTAs from great ones? Have you considered it might not be what you think? Stay tuned, as today I'm sharing 5 pro CTA optimization tips that a lot of online business and e-commerce store owners miss, but can make a massive difference to how your business grows. Number 1, not all CTAs are created equal. There are a number of different CTA types you can employ on your website, and all of these could perform differently depending on what your viewer is expecting or acts on. Let's have a look at some different CTA modal types. So this is a dummy page, and as you can see, a sticky bar was triggered immediately on loading. As we scroll down, you can see in the sidebar, we've got a purple call to action, we've got a green call to action. So those are what's called embedded CTAs sitting in a sidebar. But if your page hasn't got a sidebar, then they wouldn't be there, or wouldn't have to be there. You can see here, we've got some different types of rounded buttons. They could be square buttons. Some of those are embedded. Some can be activated on a click. If we scroll down, you should see some more triggered. So here we have the one that's popped out from the left. That could be configured to pop out from the right and obviously have different information. And as we scroll down further, we have a pop-up appear. Let's close that one. And we scroll right to the end of the page. This is called a page takeover. So it's like a pop-up, but this one takes over the whole page. And there's a couple of options, which we'll come to again in a minute. As I say, not all CTAs are created equal. If you only have one type of CTA on your website, remember, it doesn't have to be that way. You can experiment with different types, different messaging, different styles, and see what difference that makes to your conversions. Tip number 2, the multi-step principle. What we want to highlight here is why sometimes a single big ask fails to get the desired result, whereas breaking it down into micro commitments allows the user to engage and move forward. On this page, a slide in modal has been activated, and as you can see, it's come out from the left on desktop. But down here, you can see there are 2 call to action buttons. One is no thanks, Ellie, and the second one is sounds good. How? So either way, the final call to action has not been activated. Ellie is effectively giving the reader 2 options. They can read this bit of text, see this picture, and then say, no, we're not interested. If we click on that, there's a second step with a way to go and see what else she has to offer. I'll just close that and I'll go to another page. Let's just go to the meat page where I think that fires again. Often what happens when you close these CTAs, they are configured to not show again. So let's just see if we can get that one up again. Okay, so here's a variation of it. It's come up as a pop-up, but it's still the no thanks, Ellie, and sounds good. So look what would happen if we click the sounds good. Now we get 3 different options for how you can engage with her. Not all CTAs are created equal. This one has been split into 2 steps with a view to activating engagement. In other words, the subconscious mind, after it's making its initial click, is more likely to do something on the second click. Again, something to consider when you're thinking about how you can better optimize your CTAs to convert better. Tip number 3, the mobile first fix. Here, we're simply talking about making sure that as you optimize your CTAs, you check the mobile experience is just as good as the desktop experience. Depending on your traffic and the stats you're looking at, it could be that the majority of your traffic is coming from mobile. Let me just show you how that works in ConvertBox. Here we're looking at that sidebar modal that came out earlier with 4 call to action buttons. But if we look at that in ConvertBox, we can make sure that it's going to be okay on mobile. And as you can see, it's optimized in just the same way to fit and look as good on mobile as it does on desktop. So it's a really nice feature of using ConvertBox to play around with different types of CTAs. Tip number 4, the time trigger technique. Here we're simply talking about using some form of deadline or countdown where you can create a sense of urgency for a user to take action. Doesn't have to be complicated. We're just talking about basic timing principles that can bring on that sense of urgency. On this page, you can see a sticky bar CTA has been activated with a countdown timer. You see this one is variation B. I'll just refresh the page and we see a different variation. still using the timer. Here we have variation D. So we still have the timer, but we have a button. So yes, the countdown timer and the button can all be incorporated into any type of CTA, but it's that countdown that's creating that sense of urgency that will get your visitors to take action. Tip number 5, the segment secret. Here we're talking about the basic segmentation concept where you're trying to make sure that you are sending the right message to the right people at the right time. See, often what happens is one call to action will drop some people into a generic email list. And then you're trying to find out through clicks what they like. Why not try to find out what they like and what they're interested in at the point of call to action? Then your segmentation can kick in quicker so that you make sure that you send sequence 1 to customer type 1, sequence 2 to customer type 2, sequence 3 to customer type 3. The earlier you can identify your ideal customer and send them the ideal messaging, the better chance you have of improving and speeding up that know, like, and trust concept by sending them the right message at the right time. Going back to our test page, here's an example of the segmentation. Earlier, I was just showing you the different modal type, i.e. it's a slide out modal that comes from the left. But let's look at it in a bit more detail. Here we've got a few interesting things. It's picked up my name through some configuration. It's picked up the date, so it makes the website look up to date, even if it's not, by the call to action being bang on today's date. But this is what I mainly want to show. Which of the following do you need help with the most? And then you can segment your customer, your segment visitor with problem 1, segment visitor with problem 2, segment visitor with problem 3, or none of the above. In other words, if they click on any of these, a tag is going to be fired in the background that links to your email platform, and straight away they will be tagged with the appropriate tag, which means you're getting them the right message at the right time, rather than waiting for them to click on generic emails, hoping you're going to find out more about them. I'm sure you can imagine these 5 tips are just a taste of the possibilities that lie within CTA optimization and improving conversion rates in your business. Needless to say, you can mix and match these as well as combine them with a whole bunch of other opting tools like quizzes and forms. We're only just scratching the surface. The key thing to remember is there's no silver bullet or shiny white fast track to online business success. While a few may get lucky, for the majority, it's a case of never standing still. You need to try different things and celebrate momentum building micro wins that compound over time. That is optimization. In my next video, I'll also share a little known fact demonstrating the online business level playing field concept. Plus, I'll explain why and how this concept allows all small and medium businesses to compete with larger companies using CTA optimization. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video. Oh, by the way, if you're ready to take action with your CTA optimization journey, look out for my ConvertBox Mastery series, where we dive deeper into what you can do with this great tool.